Recording now. Alright, I'm here with Grandmaster Leo Fong, Wei Kuen Do, and we're going to dispel any myths about the new movie Birth of the Dragon. And Grandmaster Fong is going to tell you what really happened.
You know, the Birth of the Dragon, there are a few people, not everybody, but a few people think that's the gospel truth of what happened between Bruce and Wong. It's completely opposite. I talked to Bruce Lee right after the fight. I couldn't make it. I lived in Stockton, California, and the fight took place in Oakland. It takes about an hour and a half back in the day when they did that fight. And so Jimmy Lee called me right after the fight and told me what happened briefly. He said, "Here, talk to Bruce. He's going to tell you the whole thing." So when I picked up the phone, Bruce picked up the phone, he said, "Hey Leo," he said, "the sucker was chicken shit. All he did was ran." And I said, "Well, what happened? Really happened?" He said, "Well, here's what happened. He brought about 10 people with him, and then he says to me, 'Let's talk about rules.' And I said, 'Hell with rules,' and I started following blasting him like this. And he turned around and ran like a rabbit, and swinging his arm, scratched my neck, and I'm trying to fall blast him. And finally, after a couple of rounds around the two doors in my dojo at that time, he stumbled and fell out on top of him and tried to punch him out, and he screamed in Chinese, 'I give up, I give up.' So I let him up, told him to take his lackeys out of here and never to come back again, and I never want to see his face. Basically, that is what happened. Nothing else. He didn't even give Bruce a challenge. And when I talked to Linda Lee 2 years ago in Seattle, she said, "What Bruce told you is exactly what I saw." And I said, "Well, who was there beside you and you?" He said, "Jimmy Lee." He said, "That's it." But there were rumors of a bunch of other Bruce Lee students there, but she said, "No, it's just Jimmy and I." And then he brought in about 10 people. And then, of course, the following Monday or the following week, Bruce and Jimmy decided to kind of play a joke on Wong and just play around with him. So they went to Jackson Cafe in Chinatown where he worked, not as a Shaolin monk, but a lowly waiter. So he was cleaning a table, holding a pot of tea, and Jimmy and Bruce walked in and stood at the door and watched him. And when he looked up and saw those two guys, he freaked out like he saw two ghosts. And he poured that tea, what was left in that thing, all over the table that he was wiping. And Bruce knew he made his point, and him and Jimmy smiled, turned around, and walked out. Now that's what happened in that whole episode. And how in the hell can you make a movie unless it's fictional? What they should do is not lie about it and say it was based on a fantasy story or whatever, and not based on truth. And that's what happened. You don't believe it? Ask Linda Lee herself, because the rest of the people passed away, unfortunately. Rest in peace. But I'm the only one left that knows the real story. And I got it from Linda, and I got it straight from Bruce Lee on the telephone. And I'll tell the same story over to anybody who will listen. And I know one guy the other day called me a fake grandmaster because I said what I said. He said he thought that he believed that Wong was a monk, Shaolin monk. No, he was a waiter. He came here as a laborer. He knew a little bit of Kung Fu, and he taught Kung Fu on the side, but he did not come here as a monk or a minister or whatever you call it. So anyway, that's the story.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for your time. We're going to spread the word.
Spread the word, yeah.